All right, guys, so this is our review for Photopea for fourth period. Real quick, learning target, photo development and manipulation. Our success criteria: I can use a collaborative video project, which we've been talking about that. I can organize my raw footage and share folder. Now, we're going to review some of these. I'm going to change a few things. It says I can manipulate two pictures in Photopea. I can let me change this because some of this was from other classes. I can use tools to remove the background in Photopea. Okay. And then the last one for now, I can add a background using the layer tools in Photopea. All right, so let's get into it. So here's Photopea real quick. Remember we said file open, control open, or if you're using the Mac, it's command. So control open is creating open for a picture. So in this case, let's say I'm going to use the Cardinals picture. All right, so there's the Cardinals picture. Now they're on the green screen. We clicked and held to magic wand. And what we did is we just started clicking on this to get rid of the background. Okay. Now there's programs and things like that where you can use to get rid of the background like this. Okay. Now I'm just going to go real fast and do this so you can see. Now, once you see the checkerboard, you know, that creates a certain layer. If you need to, let's say you want to crop the image, you're going to hit Control D to deselect, click the crop tool, and then you can crop it down. So let's say I want to crop it down or crop the sides of it. I'm going to crop the sides of it just for the sake of showing you. And then I'm going to hit enter and it crops it. So let's go back to the magic wand. And that being said, you're going to continue to work on this. Now, remember, if you hit Control plus, Control minus, that will help you get into spots that will help you. Like if you notice where Miss Damon's jeans, I'm going Control Z to undo. Control Z to undo because Miss Damon's jeans are a little darker and the background is the green screen is you want a good contrast. So I'm going to zoom in. And then what you can do with your zoom, let's zoom out. Okay, so let's zoom in. Zoom in a little bit more. Now zooming in is Control Z. And then I'm going to hit the magic wand. Now you see it's got her jeans. So I'm going to hit Control D to deselect. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to use the eraser tool just to manually try to get as much of this out as I can. And anytime I make a mistake, I will Control Z. So in this case, if I get right next to it, once I blow it up, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. Okay, so you see how I'm doing that? All right, so I'm going to go right here where the contrast is not near as good, and I'm just going to kind of go really fast. So where the green, that's my dog. Shh, Molly. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that so you can kind of get an idea. And then I'm going to go back to the magic wand. And then that way, now I can get rid of everything else. Okay, now I'm in good shape. So I'm going to zoom back out. You can kind of see, so this dark area right here, see it's got Miss Damon again. Okay, so I'm going to continue this process right there about Miss Peacock, Miss Peace. The one thing I like about it, it kind of helps you blend. Now, there's a couple other programs. There's a program called Remove EG that you can use. I don't like to use it as much because of the size of the quality and things like that. But you can use it, you know. So, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Sometimes it doesn't work as good, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove as much as I can just for the sake of time. So I'm clicking on those areas, and then I'm getting rid of the background, all the green screen. That's the whole purpose. While I'm trying to get them on the green screen. So let me zoom in, Control plus, get rid of that. And sometimes if you just zoom in on a certain area like that, and then it'll get rid of those spots. Okay, like for example, right there by I think that's Miss Peacock. Yeah. So that's a good way to. So I'm going to do that, and then you know if you got spots like that, you're going to go back down to the eraser tool. Remember, hit Control D to deselect. If you can't do anything, hit Control D to deselect, and then you're going to get rid of it. Now, this is a good tool also to use for the yearbook. And we'll talk more about that later. Okay, so I'm going to go. So this is what I've done. Remember, Control plus is zoom in, Control minus is zoom out. All right, so let's say I want to finish this up, and okay, so you have your layers. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to hit the plus. You're going to hit this right here, this little new layer, okay? And you're going to do your layer right there, all right? Now, to do that, you can add a couple layers, but I'm going to go back to this one, and I'm going to hit File, Open in Place. Okay, so let's say I want to put the Crawford shield behind them, or on top. Right now, it's on top of them. So I'm going to go right here, right click, and I'm going to delete that layer. Remember, if you want to add a layer, you can hit that right there. If you want to delete that layer, you can right click and delete. Now, let's say you don't want to see the shield. I hit the eyeball and it goes away. I hit the eyeball and it comes back. If I don't want to see the Cardinals, I hit the eyeball and they go away. That way if I want to go in there and mess with the shield by itself. So if I went in here with a Magic Lasso tool, I want to go in here, get rid of them, Magic Lasso tool, you know, and you can get rid of some things. You know, you can do some things with it if you want to, okay, if you want. Now, in this case, it's not playing nice. So see if the magic wand will work. This is a magnetic lasso. Now, what the magnetic lasso tool does, let me show you this. I really like this process. It basically, it's like you have white, and you see how it's kind of like connecting to the shield, okay? But you're definitely going to need to use the Mac for this part. So what I'm doing here is if I want to cut at the white of the background, it's kind of like you have the white of the background and then the outline. What this has allowed me to do is just kind of work my way around the shield. And then once I get to the other side of it, it'll blink. And then I should be able to get rid of it. It's a smart object. And then I can get rid of it if I so choose. Okay. Deselect. All right. So that's example of that. I could cut that out if I want. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them back in. Okay. And what I'm going to do, let me hit the eyeball. And let's increase the size of the image. Actually, let's not do it right there. Let's by clicking on that, you can move it around. But in this case, what I'm going to hit the eyeball, and now I'm going to drag that behind underneath it. And by doing that, you see the background. Okay, and that allows you to see what's behind them. Okay, now there's one other program called Remove BG that could make your life way easier. All right, and you can upload images to Remove BG. So let's do the exact same image. All right. And what it does is it cuts out everything. See how quick that is? Now that is the quick tool. I'm going to download that, and then I can drop that into Photopea. Let's say I'm going to open up a new one. And some downloads, and there it is. And there's a new one. Now, the size of that file is probably a little bit smaller, but that saved me a heck of an amount of trouble. Now I'm going to go to File, Open in Place. Let's go to my desktop. Let's go to that. And what did I say do? You're going to draw that down, and there you go. Now, one thing you have to do is make sure your background is covered. So if you wanted to open it, so I'm going to undo. Let's open in place. Let's open in place the Crawford Shield. Let's move it over, and now you see those right there. Let's make it larger. Let's make it big enough to where it covers the whole background. Whoops. Control Z. I don't want to make a mistake. So I need to get rid of it one more time because I made a mistake. Let's go File, Open in Place. There's the file I want. I'm going to go right here, drag it from the corner, put it in the middle. Okay, hit enter. Now it's there, and then I'm going to go underneath. Okay, now you got them floating. Okay, now let's say if you want to open another one, open in place. Say I have another logo that you want to put a logo on it, and there it is. Now I want to drop that down. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to put that at the top. So let's go right here and try open in place because you want to put a logo there. So let's say you want to put your logo that you've created. All right, so there's my logo. Now, if you notice, I had the background, which was a Cardinals selected. Now I'm going to put my logo there. Here, undo that. I don't want that. I need to make that smaller. So I'm going to get rid of that and try it one more time. Open in place, logo. Make my logo smaller. I want to make it smaller than that. Remember, you don't want the logo to overtake the design itself. Okay, and I think I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, hit enter, and now you're good to go. Okay, so the next thing to save it, you're gonna hold File, Export As. You can save it as a JPEG. Make sure your quality is 100%, and save. And this is what it should look like. Okay. So you open it up. Now, by using Remove BG, you notice the file is a little bit smaller, but for digital purposes, that's fine. But you got your logo, you got your background, and you got your main image, which is the Cardinals. All right, so that is the review. Make sure that you don't get too connected to Remove BG. You still want to be able to come in here and cut out the background by using the magic wand. Okay. Remember, you got, different things like magnetic lasso tool and all that stuff. Now it says rasterize. That's something else altogether because this is considered a smart object. So if you want to rasterize it, which means you can do other things with it, I'm going to go ahead and rasterize the whole thing. Where now I can get back into doing some things with it. Okay. So these are just examples of how you can do the process of creating a cool background with your pictures that you have taken.